I'm John Hinkle, Senior Pastor of First Presbyterian Church here in downtown Murfreesboro on the corner of College and Spring. This is your Saturday morning preview of Sunday morning sermon. Well, we're finishing up our series of sermons looking at theological words that give meaning and clarity to our faith and who we have faith in. You know, what does it mean to have faith in God? So we've talked about grace, sovereignty, covenant. And this Sunday, we are going to look at the word glory, or the glory of God. The word glory comes from the Greek. It's doxa. Doxa, I've written down in my sermon, doxa is the weight of significance. The weight of significance. So it's not talking about literal weight, like I got on the scales today and now I know how much I weigh, but kind of the weight of, you know, that presence is heavy, if that makes sense. Like God's glory, to be in the presence of God is heavy. Doxa, glory, right? And it's the weightiness of all significance. So that may be weighty, but who God is, that is more so. That is glory. But I got to be honest, glory is not kind of a word I use often in my thinking about God. I know God is glorious, or I believe in the glory of God. Now, when I think of the word glory, it's usually in the adjective form, glorious. That was a glorious sunset. If your team wins the football game, it's glorious. But to associate glory with God, it's not that I don't know God is glorious. It's just that I just don't think about it, right? I in my sermon, I talk about prayer and my prayer life, and I wish I had a stronger prayer life. I think it's I wouldn't even call it good or okay, but I pray every day, and I often pray for you and people I love and people I don't know, and I kind of give a list of things that I pray for. I've prayed for miracles. I've even prayed for that your kid got into the college they were hoping to get into. And I believe God answers our prayers, right? I do. It maybe with a yes or even with a no, but I believe God does answer. God hears and answers. But it's interesting, in the answering of the prayers, how often don't put much time in thinking about it, you know? I kind of said, request was made, request was answered, time to move on. But if we would just pause for 2 seconds and just think about prayer in general, think about that. The God of creation is more ready to hear our prayers than we are to pray. And when we pray to God, God listens and God responds. And if we gave that much thought, I would think we would all say that's pretty glorious. So Sunday, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about how we can pause long enough and focus ourselves on just how glorious God really is, and the steps we can actually take for us to focus ourselves on the glory of God. So I look forward to seeing everybody. It's going to be 11 o'clock. Children are singing. That's always great. We got people joining the church. That's always great. Great things are happening. Shout out to my super fans, Melanie and Barry, Marcy Richmond, Pippa, Savannah. Though Savannah didn't sit up front last time she was in church, but that's okay. She doesn't need to sit up front. And we just hope you have a great Saturday, and I hope your football team wins, except for Texas A&M. Y'all have a great day.